according to the desires of our hearts. I hope I can proceed. Supposing that man was assumed to be seen like a bank in this world, I would like to ask that what type of bank will you prefer to have been? Supposing that man was assumed to be seen or created like a bank in this world, then I would have said that I am a bank that has incurred a debt that I describe as the wages of sin, a debt that has the power to entrap men under the cages of sin. Supposing that man was assumed to be seen like a bank in this world, then I would have said that as a bank, I inherited an unmerited debt right from my mother's womb, which kept me in the state of a hippie, as becoming the highest indebted, poorest creature, as long as I kept abiding in my Adamic nature. If supposing that man was assumed to be seen like a bank in this world, then probably I would have preferred to be called a stand-big bank, because I was created to stand big, stand out, stand tall, and never fall short of his glory. I was created as a bank that was never meant to be corrupt, until some way, somehow, sin started to corrupt my bank, rendering this bank that you are seeing now to be seen as bank corrupt. I became a liar just like the devil. I became liable and limited to all forms of his lying abilities, making me a limited liability. I started developing the affinity towards iniquity, to the point that even when I thought that I was at the best point of my life, it still felt like I was losing my fidelity. I decided to seize the opportunity to search and access banks, to see whether it was possible for me to get some savings and redemption for my debt. But yet I realized that quick loans alone was not strong enough to atone for my sins. I realized that no amount of quick credit was quick enough to change the verdict of death that was casted upon my soul. I finally became number one on the devil's list, waiting for him to turn me into a DKM, a devilish killing machine, until I met this bank. The name of this bank is called Jesus. For me, I call him a blood bank because he paid my debt with his blood, crossed my sins on his cross, and just like someone who works at the Red Cross, he finally became my first aid. Now I have the liberty to stand and chat just like him. I call this a stand chat. His life has now become my standard chat, a chat that I can now stand and trace his footsteps, so that his footsteps can now be able to help me to reach my zenith. And that became my testimony. Ladies and gentlemen, this season calls for us to reason. In fact, this very season is the season where men must begin to reason without ceasing. And so I would like